Okay, so in this first step of creating components, the first thing you want to do is go to your top view or plan view right there and pick that. You can also get rid of, I think her name is Laura, so I'm just going to delete her. And if you want to pan over a little bit like that, that's okay. And we're going to make a rectangle. So we have to get into the rectangle command. And to start, you're going to just pick anywhere around here. I'm just going to pick right there. And I'm moving my mouse just in the direction that I'm going to be making the rectangle. And now I'm ready to type in the length and the width of it. So we're going to type in 4 feet, comma, 8 feet, and then enter. Okay. So next, we're going to the offset command, and we're going to pick anywhere along the perimeter, doesn't matter where, and we're going to be making another rectangle on the inside of the last perimeter. You don't want to go on the outside, so you need to go on the inside, and the thickness for that, the wall thickness, is going to be 4.5 inches. So type in 4.5, enter. Okay? You never need to use the inches symbol in SketchUp, only the feet symbol. So next, we are going to orbit a little bit, just slightly so you can see what's going on. It's kind of hard to use the push-pull directly above. So I'm just going to orbit a little bit like that. And then go to the push-pull, select the 4.5 inch surface that we just made, okay, and I'm not holding my finger down, I'm just picking on it, and then I want to move up slightly, and then type in the height of that is going to be 48 inches, enter, there. We now have to select the floor and delete it. And I'm using the delete button on the keypad. All right. So there are our walls, and we have to make this a component because we're going to have 4 of them. And if you remember, the rule on component is that if you have 2 or more of the same thing in your file, you need to make it a component. So to select this, there are a couple of ways. One easy way, if you don't have anything else around it, is just make a window from left to right or from right to left. Either one is fine. Or what I like to do sometimes is just triple pick it. And if you use that method, pick, 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 that works as well. Now, you can't triple pick slowly. So if you pick, 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 it's not going to work. Okay? You have to pick it like that. Okay? So it's all selected. We now right-click somewhere on it. If you right-click out here, it deselects it, and then you have to pick it again. Okay? So once you're on there, anywhere on the blue area, whether it's the dots or a line, you can right-click and select Make Component. So these are walls. So what we need to do first is to name them walls. And anytime you're making a component, it's a good idea to glue to any and make sure that the little checkbox is right there. Okay? So it says replace selection with component. If you don't have that checked, this is not going to be a component. You're making a component of this, and it's going to be in your component list over here, but what you chose here will not be a component. So make sure that there's a check mark there. And all you have to do is to pick Create. Okay. Next, we're going to make the floor. So if it's selected like this, you can always deselect it like this. And for the floor, we need to look underneath, and with the rectangle command again, from the inside corner to the opposite corner, we're going to pick like that. We're never going to be looking down here, but we want to see all the white sides all the time. And if we look inside, it has that side. So while you're here, you can just select it, right click, and reverse faces. Okay. So we need to select the perimeter and the surface. So I'm going to double pick it like that. You can see that the perimeter is selected. It's blue and we have all those little dots. So we can right click and again make component. And this time we're going to name it floor. Again, glue to any. And this really refers to bringing it in and placing it someplace on any angle. You'll find out when you bring in stuff from the 3D warehouse that it might not want to do or go where you want to put it. And that's because it was meant for only horizontal or vertical or sloped. So any will allow you to place it on any one of these. Okay? And make sure that that's check mark and create. Okay? Now it's selected again, but that doesn't matter. You can still make one up here. We're going to make the ceiling component. So we're just going to repeat the steps by going to rectangle, inside corner to inside corner. And you can reverse this face, double pick, right click, make component. Okay, and now we're going to just type in ceiling. Again, glue to any. That's checked. And create. Okay, so now we have a component for the walls. We have a component for the ceiling. And we also have a component here for the floor. So we have 3 components total. Now we're going to make a component made out of 3 components. So window the whole thing, like so. Or if you want to pick things individually, you can just select it, hold down the shift key, select that, and then orbit and select that. But it's really easier if you have something like this and you don't have anything around it to just window the whole thing like that. Make sure you get everything, and like that. Works a lot better. So again, we're going to right click, make component. This time we're naming it as the base house. So base house, any, and make sure that there, and create. Okay, so it may look like we're making too many components here, but we do have to separate all the parts of the house. And then we want to be able to move the house. So if I move it now from anywhere, they move all together. I don't have to now, if it's deselected, I don't have to be picking each part and then moving it. Okay. So the last part of this first step is to right click on this component, and we're going to save it. So we want to go to save as, and then we're going to, I'll just put it in my SketchUp components folder here. You'll make a component folders in your H drive and name it base house. Make sure it's a SketchUp model there, and all you have to do is pick save. Now, I already have one there, obviously, so I'm not going to say yes, but you will. Another reason why we make something a component rather than a group is that we can save this in another file and then import it later into another drawing file that we want to use. So if you right click on that, we saved as, okay, we don't have to do that again, but I'm just showing you like that. And if we had something similar to that, I'm just going to quickly make this like this and do something like this. Okay, if we had something like that and we windowed it, right clicked and made a group out of it, when we right click, we don't have the option of saving it to another file. And that's another major reason why we make something a component rather than a group.